Hello, everyone. Ben Briggs here for PPC Better, your Nashville-based digital marketing and AI sales agency. And today, what we're going to talk about is the sort of marketing, our overall marketing strategy, what PPC Better does, what it doesn't do, a couple examples of some of the core services that we can provide. And so let's go ahead and jump into it. So these are the PPC Better uh, digital marketing strategies, high level overview of kind of how we think about digital marketing and how we're thinking about implementing AI as and automation into the funnel to maximize the results that our clients see from the money that they spend on Google Ads. Um, so the first step for us with a new client is ensuring goal alignment. And really, in our opinion, it's all about LTV to CAC. So LTV, lifetime value, or sometimes people would call it CLV, LTV, customer lifetime value, et cetera. Um, and so that is the amount of money on average that your business is going to generate in terms of you could be measuring gross LTV or net LTV, depending on what you're doing. But generally, gross is where we'll start. So you're measuring the amount of value that you get from a customer, and then CAC is your cost to acquire customers. So how much money do you have to spend on ads and management and creative and customer service and all of those sorts of things to actually onboard a new customer? And really, to figure out what your LTV is, you kind of start with a guess. You sort of can, if you haven't been religiously tracking your customer lifetime value, then you'll probably need to just get kind of a ballpark, and then you can measure the leads that are coming in once you've got a solid system set up, and figure out what the actual value of a lead and a customer is to refine those estimates over time. CAC is usually easier to measure. Cost to acquire customers usually a little bit easier to manage to uh, to measure than customer lifetime value. But in any event, you need to get a really good idea of what your customer lifetime value is and what your cost to acquire customer is, and make sure that that is all profitable. And if everything's set up well and everything's going well, then you're going to find the golden ratio. You're going to find a customer lifetime value that is larger than your cost to acquire customer. In this example, the business is generating $12,000 in customer lifetime value for each on average, and their cost to acquire marketing qualified leads $200. They're converting from marketing qualified lead to a customer 20% of those marketing qualified leads. So that means they have a $1,000 cost to acquire a customer and a 12 to 1 return on ad spend. So if you have a good idea of what your customer lifetime value is and your cost to acquire a customer, then you'll know exactly how profitable you are. And that is the way that we like to think about really everything that we're doing at a high level. How is this impacting customer lifetime value, and how is it impacting CAC? So PPC Better, we're not a full service agency. We don't claim to be able to do every aspect of marketing super well. There's a few things that we specialize in that we think that we have a competitive advantage in, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff that we don't do. So the marketing funnel, the top of the funnel is your awareness. Some people would call it consideration. There's different names that people will put on it. But generally, the top of the funnel, you're reaching out to people who haven't necessarily shown an interest in the product or service already. You're just kind of generally getting your brand out there, and that can be useful for especially brands where everybody buys it, like butter or tennis shoes, cars. Everybody is going to make purchasing decisions about these things, or at least the vast majority of people are going to make purchasing decisions about these things. So it can make sense to do a sort of an awareness campaign just to make sure that when they decide to make the purchase, they're already aware of your brand, and that's great. Um, The middle of the funnel, this is where more digital channels can come into place. At the top of the funnel, you've got your old school TV and radio. You've got your old school print advertising. Um, the maybe the yellow pages would be more of a mid funnel versus like a newspaper or a network radio would be more of a top of the funnel. Billboards could be top of the funnel. Just because somebody's driving down the road doesn't necessarily mean they're in the market for whatever it is that your billboard is about. So billboards, radio, some display ads or programmatic ads could be definitely considered awareness. Some people will consider Facebook ads awareness, but we really consider them more in the consideration and conversion part of the funnel because of the way that we like to feed the AI data about which customers, which prospects are working for us, and um, that allows it to that allows Meta or Facebook or Instagram, whatever you want to call it, to function more as a consideration or conversion part of the funnel. Um, so the other consideration and conversion channels are definitely non-branded paid search. So someone has decided that they want to, they're searching about real estate, or they're searching about home human resources software, or customer relationship management software, or whatever. Sorts of things that they're indicating, hey, I'm already interested in this. I am probably going to make a purchase, at some point. If I'm researching about human resources software, I'm probably not just doing it for fun. It's probably because I need a better human resources software. So the middle of the funnel is definitely Google ads, and could be some YouTube ads if you're using like a demand gen. That's more of a lead gen format. The most of the Meta ads platform are kind of playing in the consideration or conversion part of the funnel, and that is so those are the kind of general channels that you've got in the consideration or conversion. Could be niche publications if we want to think about the offline world, niche publications, or maybe trade shows. Going to trade shows, that these people are in the market for these sorts of, or at least some percentage of the people at a trade show are going to be in the market for whatever the trade show is about. So that is the consideration and conversion part of the funnel. The bottom of the funnel, loyalty and advocacy. So this is getting customers to stay subscribed if you've got a subscription model, or to make repeat purchases if it's a consumer brand of some kind. Advocacy is about sending referrals, telling their friends, hey, you should buy this too, or writing reviews online is where that really comes into play for digital agencies like ours. So your loyalty and advocacy, this could be, you could be emailing your customers, sending them text messages, calling them if you've got an offline sales team. And the bottom of the funnel and the middle of the so the bottom of the funnel is really about your follow up, your email, your SMS. The middle of the funnel is more about your transactional ad channels, your Google ads and Meta ads. And then the top of the funnel is more about billboards, TV, some display channels, over the top, digital TV. Those are more of your awareness channels. So PPC better, we don't do the top of the funnel. So we do not focus a lot on brand design, on redesigning logos. We don't spend a lot of time focusing on top of the funnel sorts of programmatic efforts. So we're not trying to convince you that you should buy instead of rent if we were talking about a real estate client, or we're not trying to convince you that that whatever your payroll software isn't good enough. We're not trying to make you aware of our payroll software brand. When you when you may or may not even run a business or be involved in HR, we are playing in the middle and the bottom of the funnel. So we don't do the top of the funnel stuff. If you're a client and you do need that, then there's a lot of good agencies who could help you out with the sorts of services that you need to run top of funnel campaigns. But we're really, really good in the middle of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel. And any agency that tells you, oh, we do everything great, is not going to be as good at the middle and the bottom of the funnel as we are. So that is what we focus on. Like I said, Google ads and Meta ads are kind of our mid of the funnel consideration and conversion channels. Some people will call them awareness channels, and they can have some impact on awareness, but the way we run the campaigns is that we want to see that LTV to CAC. We want to see that customer lifetime value compared to the cost to acquire customer. Whereas agencies that spend a lot of time playing in the top of the funnel might be talking about brand lift or much softer metrics that are much more difficult to tie directly your LTV and your CAC. And like I said, in the bottom of the funnel, that's where we're doing email, SMS, and direct outreach. And those channels are going to have the highest return on ad spend. Sending your customers. There's the famous story of the auto salesman who would send every one of his customers, every month or every holiday or every birthday, just a simple card saying "I like you," and he became the number one salesman in the whole country as far as General Motors, like GM, retail dealerships. And so just following up with your customers is going to have the highest ROI possible. The middle of the funnel is going to be not as impactful, but you need to be playing at least in the middle of the funnel to be bringing in new customers, to be bringing in new people to make purchases from your brand. If you've got your middle of the funnel and your bottom of the funnel all squared away, then the top of the funnel could definitely be a place to go. But like I said, that's not something that we focus on at PPC Better. And one of the big reasons for that is that if you're adding traffic into the top of the funnel, if you're adding impressions, views, brand awareness into the top of the funnel, but you've got a bad landing page and the landing page isn't turning people into leads, it isn't moving them into a sales demo, it's not passing the data back and forth between the ad platform and your CRM or whatever other tools that you're using, then any top of the funnel advertising that you're doing is going to be a lot less effective because you're pouring those new customers in, but a lot of them are leaking right out before they get to the point of even being able to engage with the loyalty and advocacy part of it. So and then if your sales team takes a long time to follow up, you can lose a lot of customers that way. If you're not sending regular communication, a good way to do it is if you're, say, in the home services business, you would want the customer just used your service to maintain their HVAC system. So you immediately want to send them an email or a text message and say, hey, how would you rate our service? And then if they rate you highly, you might want to remind them to write a review on Yelp or Google or any of the other online places to build that loyalty and advocacy. So the reason why we focus on the middle and the bottom of the funnel is that if we can make sure that you've got a very well optimized funnel, if we can make sure that when people are being introduced to your brand, we make it really easy to buy and we do the follow-up that we need to maximize that customer lifetime value, then any traffic that you're adding into the top of the funnel is going to perform a lot better for you. But why wouldn't you want to buy all of the higher return on ad spend, lower funnel traffic first? There's no good answer. You absolutely should. If there's people who are already interested in buying what you're selling, you want to reach as many of those as possible. So that's why we recommend that you max out that mid-funnel budget before you start chasing top of the funnel traffic. So PPC Better campaigns. So we think about paid search campaigns in 3 general categories. Brand is actually the lowest in the funnel. So this is people who are searching for your company name. A lot of those people might be existing customers who are coming back to make an additional purchase, or people who, if you are running awareness campaigns, maybe became aware of you that way and are searching for your brand. Your brand is going to have the much different performance than your non-brand. The non-brand is just where people are searching for your product or service. People are whatever it is that you sell. If you were Nike, then it'd be running shoes. And Conquest is the name of other companies. So for Nike, New Balance, or Adidas, or Mizuno would be Conquest keywords. So that's the way we think about traffic, and separating the traffic based on campaigns can give you a big competitive advantage. So the budget prioritization, again, we're buying the funnel from the bottom up. So the people that are searching for your brand, it's generally a good idea to try to buy as much of that traffic as you can at the lowest possible cost per click. The reason for this is that you don't want your competitors to sneak in there and bid on your brand, and your customer maybe gets confused. It was like, hey, I wanted to buy whatever the product or service is, and I thought I was going to buy it. They'll say it's pest control. I thought I was going to buy it from Terminix, but we've got this other brand. Their ad showed up first, so I just contacted them like, hey, it's good enough. The price is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and buy it. Terminix would be losing a customer there. So what Terminix might want to do is go ahead and place their ad on their brand traffic to make sure that they're taking up that real estate and making it more expensive for any competitors to try to sneak in there. And that can usually be done at a lower cost per click than for the non-brand traffic. So the buying intent non-brand traffic. So this can start to get a little bit complicated, but when you're looking at your non-branded traffic, there's going to be kind of we kind of separate this into two buckets. There's the research traffic and then the buying intent traffic. So buying intent would price, if they're product plus pricing or um, product plus important feature. These people, you can identify people based on their queries that they've done a decent amount of research, or maybe they're indicating that they're ready to buy it right now, versus people who are just kind of being introduced to the concept. So for us, for PPC Better, if someone was searching like how to do Google ads for beginners, that person's probably got a small budget. They're just getting started and being introduced to it. So they wouldn't be as good of a click or as good of a non-brand customer for us as someone who is searching best pay-per-click management agencies, for example. If someone searched that, they know PPC, they know some of the terminology. They're also searching for an agency, so that would indicate buying intent. So targeting your buying intent keywords first, and then maybe your research intent if you've still got budget left over. But that is how we prioritize the campaigns. And by properly, most agencies, or a lot of agencies, a lot of people who are advertising aren't even separating their brand and their non-brand at the campaign level. So that makes it much more difficult to ensure that you're meeting the strategy, that you're buying your brand traffic first, you're buying your buying intent non-brand second, and then you're buying your research intent non-brand. And after you're buying all that, then you would start to think about the top of the funnel awareness channels. So lead scoring. So how do we actually make all this profitable? How do we get the cost per customer to go down? How do we get the customer lifetime value to go up? Well, the way that we're doing that in 2025 is that we're providing the robot with really good data. And the one of the best ways to do this, there are other ways. If you're a PPC Better client, we can talk about the conversion APIs and the different methods that are available. But the offline conversion tracking is a really nice system that's available, at least for now. We don't know how long it will be available for, probably at least a couple of years, maybe longer. But regardless, the way that we do this, the way that we implement lead scoring, and the reason why we want to implement lead scoring is if we've got low quality form fills, if we've got form spam, if we've got other sorts of conversion activity that's not likely to produce value for the business, we do not want to tell Google or tell Meta that traffic is profitable. And when you're reporting it as a conversion, that's what you're doing. You're saying this traffic was all equally valuable. All the people who filled out the form were worth X, and that produces Y for our business. And then, Google and Meta are going to set your bids based on that. No, what we want to do is separate the qualified leads from the non-qualified leads, and then also track the customer journey and report that back to Google. So in order to do that, what we need to do, or Meta. So in order to do that, what we need to do is capture the publisher click ID. So that's the Facebook or Google click ID, along with the name, email, phone number, and whatever other pieces of information we're collecting on our form. So somebody searched, they clicked an ad, or somebody was on Facebook, they clicked an ad, they come to our website, they fill out the form because they're interested in whatever the service is. We capture all that information along with the advertiser IDs, pass that into the CRM. Now the CRM can score the lead. There's a number of different ways to score leads. One tactic that we like is just to send a simple double verify opt-in. So So the customer fills out the form, it comes into the CRM. The CRM automatically sends an email to whatever email they provided, just asking them to verify their email address. If the user clicks yes, then now we know, hey, we've got a valid email address, and it's probably a person. It could be a robot. Most of the time, robots don't click these. It would be possible to do, but most of the time it's going to be a human. So that can be a good first step. If you're not doing any kind of lead scoring right now, just doing that double opt-in verify, that can be a fully automated way to score the lead just a little bit. But you can also score the lead with when your sales team follows up, they go into the CRM and then they mark the lead qualified or unqualified, booked into a demo, customer eventually. So that is how you score the lead in the CRM. And then the last step is to pass that data point, whether it's they verified their email or they became a qualified lead or they did a demo, they became a customer. We pass that information back along with that publisher click ID that we collected in the first place. And that is how implementing lead scoring works. So step one is to capture the ad identifiers. We usually do this with hidden fields. So the form will automatically collect the hidden fields and then push that into the CRM. Some CRMs can do this for you. You'll just paste their form, and then it's already got all these hidden fields baked in. Sometimes you might have to custom code this, or this example from our PPC Better digital campaigns is built on Unbounce. Unbounce has this hidden field feature baked in. So there's however you do it, you need to collect these. You need to add these. It's like, so this is an example, Google Click ID, and then some other advertising identifiers that we like. We use the UTMs, the old urchin tracking method, but you could use other parameters if you wanted to. But regardless, you're going to you collect that data, pass it into the CRM. Then a simple manual scoring method would be for whoever's following up with the leads. They're going into the CRM to collect the data anyway. So after they try to reach out to the lead, they can mark the lead with a different status. The names that you use, whether it's marketing qualified or sales qualified, aren't super important. What's important is just that whatever the definition is standardized in your organization. So and then, like we talked about, the simple automated lead scoring could just be a double opt-in on the email or double opt-in on the SMS. You could do both, and you could lead score differently. So you can start to kind of make these systems a little bit more complex after you've implemented the basics, and you're starting to see the benefit based on that. Step three, you're either going to use an API or you're going to use Zapier to pass the conversion. And so you'd have these different conversion events. You're going to create these different conversion events. Maybe you've got lead and then qualified lead and then demo and then customer. So you've got these 4 different conversion actions that you're going to set up, and then you're going to set up your system, whether that's with HubSpot or Salesforce. Those are 2 CRMs that have kind of baked in integrations that you could use. As long as you set everything up correctly, then you would be able to just use the baked in integration, and that's going to send the data via the API. If you use a system like Go High Level or Active Campaign or dozens of other CRMs, then you can just put Zapier in the middle to pass that data, and Zapier will pass the data for you. So that is the general approach to buying Google and Meta traffic and making it actually profitable. Is we need to collect that data. We need to filter it for whether or not they were real customers and whether or not they had enough budget, et cetera, and communicate that data back to the platform. That's how we get an advantage there. But there's more stuff that we can do, especially with emerging LLMs. And so one example of a thing that we're doing for our clients that's working really well, we like to call it the Prince Charming campaign. And basically the way it works is all those old leads, the leads that are in your database collecting dust, that they're 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a couple of years old, your sales team isn't following up with them anymore. What we can do is have them chat with Prince Charming. Prince Charming is the one of the latest versions of ChatGPT, OpenAI. We use a super prompt to make that into a customer service agent, and then it texts your customers like, "Hey, is this the same Jane who contacted Terminix about pest control back in late 2024?" Just starts the conversation, and then the customer can chat back and forth. Now, it's not as good as your best salesperson, but it's available 24/7. It's fully transparent. We can see every single interaction that happens with the customers, and it's always available, never takes a day off. So that's the Prince Charming droid. It's going to wake up your Sleeping Beauty leads. The Sleeping Beauty leads, like we talked about, you've got a cost to acquire a customer, right? So you've got a cost per lead. So you paid money for these leads and nobody's following up with them right now. So there's basically a 0% chance that they're going to buy anything this quarter, unless Prince Charming wakes them up. So Prince Charming sends out the, hey, is this the same person that we were talking to about the service? And then if they chat back and forth, we can book them into an appointment with your sales team. So how it works with the Prince Charming, we create a done for you system so we can set all of this up for you. Enable our Prince Charming droid to chat with your leads via SMS, gently nudge the leads, and if they respond positively, book them into an appointment with your sales team, and then your sales team just has to follow up and finalize the sale. So this is one of the ways, and Prince Charming can also move those customer statuses for you. Like it could be just a lead when we send it out, and then they could move into a positively replied, et cetera. So you could also use a system like this to qualify leads as you're buying them from your Google or your Meta campaigns. And this is what we're talking about, the customization. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use the tools like the Go High Levels or the HubSpots, and then integrate them with Grok or ChatGPT to automate a lot of these processes, make things easier for your inside or your outside salespeople, and really make things easier for your customers. We could use customized appointment reminders, asking people to fill out reviews, like I mentioned. You could ask people who recently had a service, hey, how was the quality? If they give you 5 stars, say, hey, could you write us a review on Yelp or Google My Business? Um, you can also do email or SMS lead nurturing. So someone comes in as a lead from your Google or your Meta campaign, and then you start following up with them immediately using a Prince Charming type AI customer service agent. And you can also onboard those customers a little bit more smoothly. So whereas a lot of businesses right now, maybe they get the lead and then the salesperson calls. If the person doesn't pick up, then it can take days or even weeks to try to get them booked into a demo. Whereas you could use an AI customer service agent to smooth that out with SMS. So there's a number of different ways that we can use the available tools to make your marketing automation easier. And so when we think about digital marketing, like I said, we at PPC Better, we are a middle and a bottom of the funnel agency. So that's where we like to have the majority of our responsibility. We can look at this as kind of this is sort of a Venn diagram, not a perfect Venn diagram, but if we think about the different roles, obviously as an agency, we probably shouldn't be making your final messaging approval. We shouldn't be. We can give you recommendations regarding the budget, but obviously you're going to need to approve it or change it or whatever. So there's certain responsibilities that have to stay with the client, but beyond that, there's all these different tasks that are involved in running campaigns. And so one of them could be landing page conversion tracking, landing page conversion rate optimization, your email follow-up, your SMS follow-up, doing press releases or SEO, and then the paid traffic management, doing the management that needs to happen on the Google Ads side to segment those keywords into those different categories that we talked about, or meta ads. That could be creative testing, adding new ads, changing the audiences that are seeing the ads, or also making sure that all that data passing that we talked about is happening. And in general, if you hire PPC Better, like let's say you just wanted to hire us for Google Ads, you could also hire us for Meta Ads or any of these other services. But in general, we charge 15% of your media spend to manage Google Ads. And then you also get the wraparound services of the landing page conversion tracking. So that's us supporting you in setting up those advanced conversion tracking methods to report on qualified leads, which gives the robot the data that it needs to scale your campaigns profitably over time. Your landing page conversion rate, we'll do landing page testing for you as part of that with no additional retainer. But if you wanted us to take on your email follow-up or create a lead nurturing series for you, if you wanted us to follow up with your customers via text message, then we could look at different sorts of retainers to make it so you don't have to do that on your own. We can help and do that for you. So that's it. That is our kind of overall strategy. What PPC Better does, what we don't do, what we think we're good at, and how we think that we can help you maximize your customer lifetime value and hopefully minimize or at least keep profitable your cost to acquire a customer. Um, it is important to keep in mind that your cost per customer is only going to be able to go so low. There's going to be a floor to the cost per customer, and the lower that your floor is, also the lower your volume is. If you can afford to pay more for a customer because you have better customer lifetime value, then that's going to allow you to reach out to more sorts of traffic. Maybe now you can buy the research traffic, whereas you were only profitable on the buying intent traffic until you increased that CLV with a new product or with a new upsell or whatever it is. But um, like I said, what we focus on is optimizing the middle and the bottom of the funnel so you can profitably acquire customers. And that is what we do here at PPC Better, your Nashville-based digital marketing and AI sales agency. If you've got any questions, you can drop them in the comments or follow us on social media. We're on X, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook. You can follow the channel here. Please give us a like and a subscribe. And you can find us on our website, ppcbetter.com. That's where you can schedule a strategy session if you want to learn more about working with us directly. And that's it. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for your time. Hope you found some of this helpful or useful or maybe even a little bit entertaining. So thanks, everybody, and have a good rest of your day.